Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping in. Welcome back to another episode of a Warriors Call podcast. This is an EFT centered podcast, and today we're going to be focusing on the 12.6 patch notes as well as the implementation of 12.6 itself. I'm Pickle of Marines. I'm your host, and joining me today I have Corporal Rhino, MBG Hells, and the Atlas family. So if you guys would go around and just kind of say a little snippet about yourself. And what got you into Tarkov? We'll start with you, Rhino.
Oh boy. I'm Corporal Rhino, former Marine, former Army Cav Scout, and Tarkov is my daily go-to now. Got me into it. I picked it up, saw a bunch of people playing it, and decided it would be something that I would enjoy. So I now play with a bunch of people in MVG, and I play with a group of my own, and it's a pretty good time.
All right, Atlas, what about you, man?
What's up, guys? I'm Atlas. I was in the Marine Corps and from 2010 until 2014, and I was an infantryman. And I got out, went to school. I started streaming after I graduated, and I was playing other games like Dead by Daylight, like League of Legends, super toxic, terrible games. And then one of my viewers gifted me Tarkov, and I was like, dude, I'm not going to feel this, bro. And he's like, just try it once. And we went to Shoreline on the player scavs, and we went to Resort, and we got blasted. And I was like, fucking holy shit. I was like addicted ever since then, dudes.
And then Hells?
I'm MVG Hells. I'm active Air Force right now, cyber warfare. Love it. Everyone's already seen my two cats, Layla and Toby. I'm also one of the stream team leads for the charity and our lead for Tarkov.
Awesome. All right. So let's get into it.
Oh, how I got into Tarkov?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I joined the charity.
Oh, nice.
I was googling military or veteran gaming organizations, and I found the charity. And saw the streamer program, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to play games, I might as well stream while I play the games. And then somebody was like, go check out Escape from Tarkov, and I never looked back. It's ruined all other shooters.
Hell yeah. All right, so first I just want to start with overall thoughts on 12.6, and if you think there was anything they could have done better. Once again, Rhino, we'll start with you and work our way around.
Sure. 12.6. Well, I just started playing in February.
Okay.
So I had the last little bit was at the end, so everything was kind of easy. Not a lot of people farming for the same stuff that I'm farming for. So as far as this though, I think that some of the changes are good, especially the Found and Raid. Things like that. It just stops it from being oversaturated if you don't get out with it, literally stuffing everything in your container that you can possibly think of. So to me, that's one of the good things. It kind of helps you understand that whatever you're picking up, you seriously need to protect to get out with. So that's one of my biggest things that I think that they've improved on for sure. Outside of that, I haven't seen anything that has really changed other than the thermals, the lack of them now compared to what it was at the end of last wipe.
Okay. All right. Atlas?
Dude, I love the wipe. I'm all about early wipe. I think that BSG did a really good job, honestly, this time around. The fact that they remember last wipe in like November, how it was like 38-minute wait times for like scabs and fucking games like that.
Yeah,
terrible.
It was
or like half the community couldn't even log in, right, for like 2 days.
Yeah, I remember that.
And just this time around, right, it's been a lot better. Like 4 or 5 minutes, 6-minute waits the first day, but then it's just really mellowed out after that, right? I could really tell the servers were added, and I was really happy about how that's been working. And then I would say things they could have done better. Like, I feel like they did a great job with the stutters, right? We've been stuttering less, but
Yes.
I've been dying to fucking desync so much. And like invisible people. Have you guys had that in your raids yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've been invisible. It's like crazy.
the whole desync thing, and I don't know if you guys remember, but last patch Tweet got it speculated Tweet got banned because for other players he Spider-Man'd out the window and came back in, so it looked like hacks, but it was in fact just desync between their server connection. And I've actually had more of that this wipe than I've ever had before.
Yeah.
There was a point when I jumped on top of the ramp to go up into the back of Ollie, and to my buddy, I just floated away. I just flew off into the sky. And it was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And then I had on Shoreline, I tried to motion him to like come into a room, and instead of like my hands just like, hey, come here, it like shot past him, and he thought I threw a grenade.
Holy shit, dude. Either his game or your game must be fucked.
Yeah, we still don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, and then you have anything else that you wanted to say about so far?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then, like, you know, as much as I hate this, I mean, I understand if they're not done with it, it's okay. But like, I was really looking forward to that customs rework, dude.
Yeah,
You know?
I think we all were, and I think we all were a little let down when that didn't come.
Yep, 12.7.
But it's better than, remember Reserve came out and it was like you'd lose like 40 frames compared to all the other maps
Oh, yeah.
on Reserve.
Yeah, that
So
was,
like
definitely.
I'm glad, I hope they're figuring that out, and so, you know, instead of releasing something half baked.
yeah, absolutely.
That's it for me though.
Cool. Hells?
A lot of pros and cons to the patch. This was my second wipe, 100% smoother than the first one, exponentially smoother than the first one. That was so bad. And I agree with Atlas. You can completely tell that they have added servers, and it actually helped. Now, we also don't know what the numbers are. Maybe we only had half as many people trying to log in and play as compared to last wipe when it happened. So, I don't know. Hopefully it was the servers that fixed it. Desync has indeed been terrible. Invisible scavs, bullets penetrating armor it shouldn't be penetrating, scavs just not dying, like they're not taking damage. It's definitely been an issue.
Yeah.
Stutters have definitely been reduced. Everyone say hi to Mrs. Atlas.
So, some of the stuff that I absolutely love about this patch and from the patch notes was the new found and raid system, and the new run-through system. I think the rework on the run-through system was absolutely needed, because the previous system was, I mean, it was fine, but it was a little outdated, especially if you're just trying to run quests. Because there are some of us that, you know, just like to run quests early on, and if you have to get over 1,000 XP or, you know, be in for 30 minutes, then the chances of actually dying with said items is a lot higher than it is now. And then also the removing static spawns for high loot items, or high tier loot items, was a very nice addition. And I think that was a really good way to combat hatchlings, and to have people actually start using their gear and play, because according to the way that the new system is, you could be walking around, check a random duffel bag, and find a LEDX, or red keycard, or blue keycard, so on and so forth. And so I think the addition of that system was super nice and definitely needed, because it was even really apparent at the end of the wipe, this last wipe, with people hatchet running just that medical room on interchange. So they would go in with 0 gear, just run straight to that room, and then disconnect.
I thought dynamic loot wasn't turned on yet.
Well, I mean, from the patch notes it is. But the patch notes also says that the captcha was added to the flea market, and I haven't seen that yet, so it may not
Yeah, I
be.
was gonna say I haven't.
Well,
come
I think
across
it's
that
the
either.
captcha's only for people who are flagged as, you know, those people doing like red rebel trades for like a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like those people,
Okay. So it's
for sketchy people. They said they were going to get flagged when they
For
did weird
suspicious
stuff.
actions.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
probably like they bought 10 things in a single second, all with
Mhm.
single presses. Like that's
Okay.
not realistic.
Gotcha. The addition of the increase for all stashes, I thought that was a nice addition as well. Because that's been a complaint of mine for quite some time, is that some of the stashes just felt way too small. And I know 2 rows isn't a lot, but it makes a difference. It really does.
It does.
New clothing, not totally needed, but a nice thing to add, as well as one thing I have noticed that I have not ever noticed before is the lobbies to invite people and meet up with friends is absolutely screwed right now. It takes forever for an invite
Agreed.
to go through. It takes forever for an invite to be accepted, and I don't know what went wrong, but something changed this wipe that completely changed that. And then I've also noticed a lot of, I guess, stuttering, you could say, in the menu itself. Like, the game will just freeze up, and it'll have something click that you didn't click. And
yeah, I'll agree with that one for sure.
And I've
Because,
lost entire scav raids, loot. I've lost trades from the flea market, and I've lost money from traders or like insurance returns from traders purely because of that. And it's kind of annoying.
I've had the massive stutter just trying to filter by item in the flea market.
Yeah.
And it just completely locks up, and you sit there and you go, well, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to do it, or is the game going to crash and I'll have to go back in again?
Yeah.
Yeah, menu lag has definitely been a thing. For the lobby lag, that started last patch, I noticed.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that, Hells.
Yeah, and there's some workarounds, like whoever's going to be the host, be the last one to hop in the lobby, because then it loads everybody instantly compared to them joining after, and you have to wait. And then I've also noticed that if you spam the invite 2 or 3 times to a person, they seem to get a little faster.
Yeah, I've noticed
that doesn't seem to fix, the accept coming through, but it helps,
Definitely not a fix, but a mini fix for the time being.
Yeah, workaround.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you guys think of the binaural audio, or the Steam audio as they call it?
I think it's still broken massively. I will hear grenades in my headset in front of me when they're actually behind me.
Interesting.
So it still needs a lot of tweaking to it.
Okay.
I've been getting better directional sound out of it, like left to right for pinpointing. Vertical doesn't seem as good, and then distance isn't necessarily very good.
Yeah, I've definitely.
But we also got to keep in mind our perception is now super low compared to last patch at the end of the wipe. So we have a new audio system, but our players' hearing isn't leveled up yet. So we're trying to learn a new sound system without having the leveled hearing to go with it.
Yeah, that's true. Atlas, you got anything about the Steam audio?
Basically what they said, it seems like it works so good sometimes, and then sometimes, like Rhino was saying, like I hear a nade in front of me when it's behind me, you know what I'm saying? Or like the ones outside completely just sound all around me. And I'm not sure if that's like a reverb or, like, you know what I'm saying, something that they want to do intentionally. Yeah. But Nikita did say he's only releasing a piece of Steam audio right now, right?
Yeah, I think
so. He's still working on updating it. Hopefully that changes. And I agree with Hells about the perception. I think that kind of fucks our minds a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we switch helmets, and headsets, and trying to figure out the best ones. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I have noticed this patch as well. I've been getting a lot more of those Suedo nades where they just won't go off. And that might just be my game, but I've noticed it definitely more than last wipe. Raiders,
definitely not a you thing.
They still happen. They're just silent.
Okay, gotcha.
They're just silent for you until you restart your game.
God, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I will say some of the AI changes as far as behavior have been really nice. Some of the scavs don't look as static. They don't look like they're scripted, I guess. Especially with raiders. Some of the raiders like movements that they've added in have and I haven't really noticed it on labs because I really haven't played it too much yet. But as far as the 3 or 4 that spawn on reserve, it just it feels more fluid and it looks a little bit better. I don't know if you guys saw anything about the behavioral improvements, but yeah,
the scab ones. I mean, I can attest that I think the regular scavs got way more of an improvement than the Raiders did.
Oh yeah.
Raiders, when they're aggroed, yes, they're going to come charging at you. But now you'll be walking through interchange and a scab will take off straight down a ramp right at you. Like he's coming to a gunfight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've added a little more of that in without you even shooting at him. But if you're in his line of sight, he's going to pursue you and try to kill you. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Or they're going
absolutely.
to reposition to get in some cover so they're not so out in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
I've noticed
drop
that
shots
too.
and prone is fun too.
So the improvements that they've said they've made is improved behavior of ordinary scavs. Now they can cooperate. Fixed a bug that when a player falls into the bot's leg, the bot can't hit him. Fixed a bug where Glueheart and his guards do not react to the enemy. That was something I did notice last patch, and I haven't seen it yet this patch, which is nice because it was kind of weird when you'd shoot at them and they would just not do anything. Oh yeah, they fixed. I think it's the same as the last one they just mentioned. Glueheart did not react to shots in the death of his guards. They fixed the bug where Sturman's guards didn't take their positions, and they I did notice last patch they would kind of just sprint around even in like a peaceful kind of behavior. But they said they fixed that too. And every time I've ran into them, if they're not being aggressive, they're just kind of walking around and not being weird. So it's nice to see them taking a look into what players are actually talking about as far as what even the AI are doing. Because I know a lot of times in games like this, people can just get absolutely carried away with player to player, and they don't really focus too much on what's going on in the environment around them, which is another thing that devs also kind of focus on too, especially with multiplayer games. So it's nice to see BSG kind of taking a look into more than just the players,
Yeah, for
Oh, yeah,
sure.
for
Like
sure.
I've definitely been fucked by some scabs before in a fight recently, like and being like, damn, they're so crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Trap shot.
I'm glad that some people I'm fighting are getting fucked by scabs too. So it's nice to have that like third party AI in there, dude. It's cool. You're right.
Yeah. They did a whole ton of bug fixes as well. Like that rippling with the flare. I don't know if you guys ever used the flare at all. When they added
Oh
it.
yeah, the FLIR was trash, dude.
Yeah.
I love using it last patch. It was so cheap.
Well, yeah, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that it had literal ripples in the imaging.
You got used to
I mean, yeah, but it's just kind of like, am I watching the ocean right now? What is this?
it.
Is there anything else about 12.6 that as far as patch notes or implementation that you guys would like to touch on?
Leaning and CPU/memory.
Okay.
So leaning while prone, it's so dirty. I'm not sure if I love it or I hate it.
Have you seen those videos where people play dead doing that? Like they'll lean all the way down so that their gun's just touching the ground, and people have actually thought they're dead. And they'll lay down and start to try to loot them.
Oh, I've watched Pickle lay down in a hallway and lean to the right. There's no doubt about that.
It
if
definitely
you do-
brings some comedy to the game, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're the guy that's not laying down and you're watching the guy literally roll to his side around a box to try to shoot something. That's what gets interesting.
Yeah.
And if you do it in the grass, like you really do just melt into the grass.
Yeah, I have noticed that. It's kind of interesting.
And then
Yeah, go ahead.
CPU and memory utilization, huge improvement. Far less stutters than the prior patch. And even looking at task manager usage has been way down. Frames overall have been greatly improved by fixing the workers in Unity.
Yep, I agree 100%. As well as, I mean, and you really see it on reserve, right? You go to reserve and you're like, holy shit, it's not crazy anymore. And I have
It's
70 frames, 60
smooth.
frames. you're 100% right. I've noticed in the last like 5 weeks, 4 weeks, that it's really improved, man. Like there was some little minor tweak and I logged in and it was so different, dude, night and day.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to not have all these stutters and crazy shit going on while you're trying to just play. Because I hated that stutters. Death to stutters was probably one of the most aggravating things in 12.5, for me at least.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing that they probably need to, I know that they said they optimized the casings and the muzzle flashes and they're trying to make it as realistic as possible. But still, when you're at reserves or you're in dorms or whatever, and you literally watch the muzzle flash through the floor, which we all know that would never happen in real life.
True. That's, I've never
you
thought about that.
instantly go, oh, the guy's directly above me. Let me run up and, go push on him. It doesn't make sense. You gotta fix the whole see-through floor type thing.
Yeah.
That's how I wiped a 5-man on factory yesterday.
And
I knew they were in the tunnel of factory. I could see the flashes, so I just jumped down in front of them.
And it's the same thing with flashlights. I've noticed flashlights are still going through floors and walls and shit like that. The brightness of lasers I still find a little bothersome. It's not a huge deal, but it just feels very arcadey to me when I see this bright ass fucking laser in the daytime. It just doesn't make sense,
Yeah, I haven't seen it much, but we've seen it a couple of times, running down the road to the gas station at Customs or something, and you see the laser on the bridge.
Yeah. Shit. All right.
Mainly with that blue one, right?
Yeah.
The blue one, I feel like is the worst.
Yeah,
Definitely.
When they changed how bright the blue one was last wipe, it was definitely a little ridiculous, and I was like, holy fuck, I can see that for miles now. And then I guess we can just go ahead and move right into direction of the game. How do you guys think it's been progressing? I know a couple of you haven't really been playing for terribly too long. I myself I've played this game for about 3 years now, so it's been really fun to watch the progression of where it's come from. So let's go around and get a little thought on how you guys feel so far.
Well, from the new guy perspective, let's say that, obviously, coming in where everybody had every piece of gear and you could just literally go to the flea market and buy whatever you wanted, right? I feel now, being a middle level guy, because obviously we've all been grinding on it, but to be able to go into interchange and actually, any map for that case, to actually have a chance and not somebody that's running Gen 5 and an Alton and a juice cannon and 30 grenades in his backpack. And, he's just laying through you as you come in at a level 10 or 11 guy.
Yeah.
So it helps to be able that everything's level. And like I said, this is my first wipe. So it's great to be able to go in and actually fight an actual battle with somebody that's pretty much the same as you, regardless of whether he's a level 40 and I'm a level 26. Because we can't just go buy the gear. We've got to find it or make it or buy it off the traders.
Absolutely.
For sure, yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that, the find and raid has something to do with that, and the losing the find and raid if you die. Like, I really love that. Like, it's kind of brutal, but you shouldn't be rewarded for getting killed. You know what I'm saying? So like, you still get to keep the graphics card, still get to keep the Tetris. It just loses its find and raid. You know what I'm saying? So it's even more like goes back to like, fuck, man, I got to use this SKS. Like, I don't have anything else. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. It's even like I being one of the people that ran like really heavy kitted all the time. It never felt good killing, like he said, like Rhino said, like a low level player with fucking, that's just trying to get into the game, and they have to fight fully geared chads and like fucking stutters and bugs and desync and then the AI is crazy and the bosses,
Yeah.
then they
Welcome to
disconnect
Tarkov.
randomly. They're like, fuck, man, this game sucks, and they go back to playing Fortnite. And I'm like thinking, this is good that it's happening, so that people actually stay in the game and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? They get that
Right,
good
and he
feeling.
runs around the corner
Absolutely.
in a scab vest with a penis helmet, and you just
Yeah.
take him right out.
And you're just sitting there with a fucking airframe RPK with a 95 rounder with a goal neck, and you're just like, hi.
You just
Yeah.
push the mouse button one time, and he just falls over. Like,
Yeah.
that's the end of the story. You're like, oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah. One thing I would really like to see happen, and they've been trying to get it done for so long, is cooperation between players and cooperation between scavs, and then that middle ground with the cooperation between players and scavs. And it's so hard to do because the mindset that so many people in this game have right now is to just shoot on sight. And I'm curious to see moving forward how they're going to try to change that, because I know that they keep trying to add cooperative extracts where you have to team up with somebody else, you have to team up with the scav, you have to team up with the player to get out at these certain points. And right now they're just completely ignored, because most times if scavs even see other player scavs, they'll just shoot on sight. And it's interesting to me. I get it. I totally get it, because after a certain point, you know, you're just like, man, screw this, screw everybody. I'm just killing anything that moves. So
It's the sociopaths, man. They ruin it for
Yeah.
us, dude.
Yeah.
You wiggle at a guy, and he's the one guy, you know, that just is like, get fucked, and steals your shit. Like,
Yeah.
feels bad. But you're right. Like, you get out, and you're like, oh, cool, military cable. Thanks, fence.
Yeah.
You know, you need to get like an RSAS or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that'll be more of a.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had the wiggle honored once at the start of this patch. It was a 4-way wiggle that everybody honored on woods. It was a thing of beauty. 4 random player scavs, nobody had comms, just killing everything and looting sawmill, and then we all went our separate ways to our extracts.
That's awesome. And I've seen so many of these stories where, you know, 2 random player scouts will run into each other and they'll work together through a raid, and then they'll just go their separate ways and extract without having actually ever said any words to each other. And I think that's awesome. I personally have never experienced that. I always look at somebody wiggle and just get fucking bopped in the head, and I'm just like, oh, okay. But I think it's really cool to see that some of the community is doing that, and that some of the community isn't just a total sociopath where they just want to kill everything on sight. So I think moving forward, it'd be definitely cool to see more of that. But, you know, there's only so much we can do. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, if you
It's
wiggle,
it's a personality type, you know. Like,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
it. Like, nothing else we can do
You
about
spawned
it.
with the military key. Do you really want to risk that scav's going to be honorable?
Yeah, right.
Or he waits until the last possible second, and then that's it. You're over.
Right?
Yeah, right. 1 second till extract. Bye.
Yeah, you guys seen that clip of Clean doing that on reserve? He's like literally 1 second from extracting the scav extract. The scav turns and pops him right in the face, dude, as he's disappearing, and he dies. Like,
Oh no.
so that's like and thousands of people saw that. So like they're like, okay, fuck this, dude. These scabs are going, dude.
Yeah, right?
But I think reserve scabs are like a different breed. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
Dirty reserve scavs?
Absolutely. Dude, they're crazy.
God.
They're like they have like a
Greedy.
they got like a drug factory going on there, and they're all just like hopped up on the queue, you know, just running around.
Yep, I believe it.
Oh yeah, and then Hells, what are your thoughts on the game so far? Where it's come from when you started, and where you want to see it go?
So I've been playing it for 53 weeks now, and you can definitely tell the developer cares about the game and is working on not only just fixing the game, but continuing to push out new content constantly, even if it's like mini patches where it's like, here's some new gear, or like, hey, we fixed this bug, you know, this no longer works, this exploit, or we fixed that door that wouldn't open, who knows. But they care about it and they're working on it, and looking at the roadmap of like what's to come that they have planned, I love the game as it is, and I think what the game is going to be once everything's said and done. Like, we have thermals back, but we now have batteries, how that's going to work, and you can use the window cleaning fluid to wipe off your face shield so it's not dirty anymore. Like, so many improvements and things to come to make it even more realistic and interactive. I really look forward to it. And there's other progression too, like their progression to combat the hackers, introducing battle eye, trying to change how the game works to combat it, which has its own pros and cons, like the find and raid system that seriously hurt the real money traders.
Oh, absolutely, and I think
And
that's amazing.
There's a small con of it does hurt the player base who's, they just want to get out with that goddamn Tushonka. Like, we need 15 of those fuckers.
Yeah.
And so there's pros and cons there. And then they're doing other things like removing items from the flea market, like Red Rebel. You can no longer buy a Red Rebel.
Yes.
That kind of sucks.
It's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. So I don't
yeah,
know how else they plan to adjust
one
and further combat real money trading. I think the system needs to be tuned, but it's just how.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think one of the biggest things that they added to, at least for me, that I absolutely loved was some of those new gear items. They don't, you can't buy them on the flea market or from traders, so you have to find them in raids. And I think that's amazing, because like some of those new M4 parts, like I got one of those new Labs Raider M4s, and I tried to list some of the parts for it on the market, and then it's like, this part doesn't exist, and I was like, wait, what? It's right here. What do you mean? And then I remembered, oh yeah, that's right. You can't list some things on the market now, and I think that's awesome, because it's kind of bringing Tarkov back to the roots of before we had the flea market, which I still have to say was hands down my favorite time in the game. When if you wanted to mod a weapon, you had to find everything, like for those super high tier items for weapons, you had to find them in raid. I loved that because it made you cherish your builds more. There weren't nearly as many meta builds, and things were just, it's like, yo, dude, check out my gun, and like you toss it down to your buddy, and he'd be like, oh, that's sick. Where'd you get that? And then you'd run that one spot to try to get it again. But I think that it needs to kind of work its way back towards that, personally.
And there's definitely a pro and con there too, with like the gunsmith parts, etc. Like, you can only sell it on the flea market if it's been found in raid. So that's artificially created a very high price on some of these items.
Yeah.
Compared to before, how someone got level 2 trader, they can go buy it and sell it cheaper on the flea market. So that helped control the prices and keep them at a good level.
Well,
but now they're just out the window.
And one of the things that I think they're really trying to remind people with this whole new system is that the quests are all intertwined together. So you're supposed to do a certain quest line before you start another quest line, because it allows you to get, like the MP5 SD. I know a lot of people get stuck on that right now because you just can't get that suppressor anywhere. But the way to get it is to do skiers quests, unlock the quests for Peacekeeper, and then I think by the third quest you can actually buy the MP5 SD from him. But it's just, and I think it was kind of a good thing that they're trying to remind us that, hey, if you do the quest, you can get the items that you need for the next quest or for future quests or previous quests or whatever. Because that, that's what it was originally designed to be. Is that you do the quests in a certain order to get them all done.
I think there's some balance that needs to be reattacked there as well, because like that quest for the MP5, you get that gunsmith quest early on. Almost nobody unlocks Peacekeeper anywhere near that level because it's locked behind flash drives, which are so hard to get. So most people are probably closer to level 30 by the time they get that, when they should already be on like Gunsmith Part 12, but they're stuck on Part 2?
Oh, absolutely. But and I think one of the other things too that they're trying to show is that yes, while questing can be powered through and done really quickly, quests were originally designed to last you through most of the wipe. And then really only that end game part of the wipe was supposed to be when you're just kind of running around bullshitting, doing whatever.
Plus, these are the side quests anyways, so once we have the main quests, that will certainly help with that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's more content and gives us something to do in the meantime.
I think Atlas had a comment on the find and raid stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Did I?
You started to talk, but we were all talking and we just kind of kept going.
Oh no, you're good. So you think that I was gonna ask you, Hells? You said that you think it creates kind of like a more of an artificial price, even though so more than the people like those freaks that would grind the level 2, you know, or like get all the way to 762 BP on Prapper, you know what I'm saying, through Punisher, and then they would buy at all the BP and then like put it up on the market. You know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah,
For millions of dollars, but I think like everybody has a chance now, even at level 1, to find something good. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah, it
not like
definitely increases the value of your find and raid stuff, but like 400k for the Remington choke, like come on.
yeah, but I mean, no
There's-
one is
I'm-
holding a gun to your head, dude.
I'm
to
guilty
Oh,
of
find
yeah,
it.
that, by the way.
And you can still go and make that trade to mechanic for the other shotgun and just build it from that. And that was one of the intended things to do anyway for that quest.
Right.
For
Yeah,
sure,
I
and
found
that's
that-
what I think people are missing.
But
I
like-
found that last night and I sold it for about 350k.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling, right now? Like you're like, oh
Hey,
shit.
it was
And I think
perfect 'cause
everybody
there were
it
none of
happens
them up there,
once.
and I was like, "Hey, I got this," and it was 30 seconds, hands down, bam, sold. I got money.
Hell yeah, and you shot that player scab that was wiggling at you because you're like, I gotta get out with this shit, dude.
I
I
sold
did not care at all, even though I felt a little bad after somebody bought it. When I put it up, I didn't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
money.
Or that one for that AK the AK build that what's that stupid handguard called that has the
The CAAS, whatever it is.
yeah, it's got that rail that goes all the way to the back of the gun, that kind of loops around that center sight post.
Oh, the Bastion.
Yeah, whatever they call it. That thing is selling for like 400 to 500k right now. When I saw that, I was like, this is ridiculous.
The 34 millimeter mount, that thing's selling for between 200 to 400k for the scope, and I was so mad when I got to the quest because I had just sold it like an hour before to like Skier for like 10k. I was like, I could have sold it on the flea market. Free.
Yeah. I have noticed that foregrips are exponentially more expensive now than they ever have been before. And I find that very interesting. Specifically, the skeletonized Fortis Shift. That one is selling for like 70 to 80k, when last wipe you could get that for probably half the price of the B1 on the 52 mount.
So many of the foregrips are so far down the line on the traders that any of them found right now, money.
Oh yeah, it's and you would think that the more that are found, the price would start to go down, but I feel like sometimes they're just getting more expensive.
But that's the thing too. You just gotta. I mean, that's on the person to like. I want a fucking foregrip. I'm going to the flea market. You know, that's the price you pay. Like,
Right.
if I have level 4 traders, so I can buy them for like 7,000 rubles now. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Oh yeah,
if
absolutely.
you really want to do that, just grind the traders as fast as you can. And I'm not even like halfway done with my quests. So it doesn't. All you need is like 3 or 4 quests in all the traders. That's it. Just each trader line.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
can get level 4 once you're 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just to go back to that Remington 400k, like a lot of people in my chat are complaining about it too, saying old guys are taking advantage. It's level 2 skier, guys. Make sure we're looking up on the wiki these parts. All you have to do is grind a little bit of quests, and you'll be level 2 skier, and then you don't have to pay 400k for something. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And you know that just brings it back to the point of they're trying to reiterate that you're supposed to be using the traders more than you are the flea market, and the flea market was really supposed to just be a convenience to find some of those super rare parts that you've always wanted but you've never actually been able to find in a game. I mean that's how I feel
I
about
agree.
it, at least.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
That's the way it is. If you're missing the one thing that you can't find, then it just gives you that outlet to pursue it and buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And sure, it's going to be more pricey, but it's I mean, it's a black market, for crying out loud. It's not supposed to be reasonably priced, you know.
True.
And you always got to remind yourself, like, you're the one pressing okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to fucking trade anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing I think that is good, because we're seeing a lot of weird things. Like, you kill a guy and you see his gun and you're like, the fuck? You know, he puts on whatever he can on that motherfucker, you know?
Dude,
And so, like, some items that weren't getting used, like certain optics and certain foregrips, because, you know, we go right to the meta, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Those are being used way more. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, like I was on Shoreline yesterday, and me and my buddy we killed a dude, and we picked up his AK and we just looked at this thing and I was like, what the hell is that? Like it had one of those hand guards that you can mount like a collimator on, and it had the Cobra OKP2 with the that front shade on it. It just looked goofy as hell. But
I thought you were getting ready to describe my AK or something, like you just killed me, because my AKM that I'm using to kill them scavs, dude, is trash. It is like market build, sure, but it's good. I mean, everything's good about it. You can get most of the stuff from the dealers, so it's one, like Atlas was saying, it's one of those ones that if you find and grind the right way, you can literally buy all those parts for less than 100K and build a fully stock AKM that has ergo and recoil that you're looking for to run around a big open map with a long scope on it and just pick off scavs. It works, and it's simple.
Absolutely. And I think one of my favorite things about the swipe 2 that I've been utilizing a lot more than I think I ever really have in the past is some of those obscure items like the cat figurines or whatever, actually doing the barter trades to the traders. Like Proper, he has a one of the AK-74Us that's suppressed and comes with a 30 rounder full of BP, and you can trade it for a cat figurine. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, because a lot of people are selling those cat figurines on the flea market for like 20K, which
You start taking cats.
is cheaper than the suppressor, the rounds, and I think only 3K more than the gun itself.
Yeah, cat figurines 34K right now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go buy one and get me an AK. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like,
Here, back.
it's just it's just these things that people don't pay attention to, and that's one of the reasons that you'll always see me after I find an item like a lion, a cat, a horse, whatever, what have you. I'll right click on it and click required search, and I'll see what some of the traders have up for, a certain amount, or even just that item alone, because it's super helpful in early game, late game, just getting guns in general. And I think it would be interesting to see players take more advantage of that.
I really wish we could do that in the match. Like, pick up this piece of loot. What the hell is this? What is this? Can I even use this with the traders I have? Let me just require it against
True.
the traders. Oh yeah, I can trade it to this guy for this. Like, there's so many different barter trades to try to remember them all, and they keep adding more. And then they just added all those new crafting items too. I just unlocked something in the hideout, and I'm like, I can craft that? I should have done that ages ago. Like, I would have been
Yeah.
done with that
Spent
quest.
4 hours the other night looking for one can of damn Tushonka, and then realized that I could craft it in my hideout with the new changes. Like, I didn't go to the food station. I knew I could craft morphine. I saw all that. But
Yeah.
somehow I skipped over this tiny little can of meat that is pissing me off for 4 hours, and all I had to do was spend like an hour and 15 minutes crafting it. I was so mad when I figured it out.
And that's another thing I've noticed too, is a lot of people sleep on the hideout. The hideout is so
True.
useful.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. The hideout is it's probably one of the most useful things early game, and it's even super useful in mid and late game as well. Just by all the things that you can craft. The fact that the things that you do craft are still considered found in raid is just beyond me. I think that is a really cool thing they added, especially with and that's a big help in getting that flash drive quest done too, because that's how I got mine done. is through the hideout.
Right. Yeah. At the start of the wipe, it's not as useful, but now that they've added a lot more of those starting quest items, I think, to it, it's definitely worth it to start investing into it earlier than I was, which was typically between levels like 10, 15 is when I actually start focusing on the hideout.
Okay.
Like I just focused 3 days of resources into it just so I could make the stupid Wilson cigarette to finish Bad Habit.
Yeah, I feel that.
I actually did the same thing. Wilson's was one of the things I crafted. I was like, and then as soon as I was done, found
You
him in
found
every
it.
fucking jacket. I was like, oh, great, dude.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna do one last raid before that craft finishes, and I'm gonna find like 4 Wilsons. Like,
I have noticed, like, sometimes, and I don't know if it happens to you guys too, but I feel like sometimes it's just my luck where, like, I won't find, like, I'll be doing a quest and I need something, and I won't find it for, like, 2 weeks, and I'm like, alright, fuck this, I'm just gonna, go make it in the hideout, and then I'll make it in the hideout, and then it's everywhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, alright, well, yep, alright, that's cool.
yeah, I definitely feel like when I'm on my PMC, I don't find the find and raid quest items that I need. I get the majority of my found and raid quest items off of my scav runs.
Okay.
The flash drives, the graphics cards, the armors, the gun, all of that came from my scavs. I think like 2 cigarettes came from my PMC.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the incoming new scav factions, as they called them, which is just new AI factions. Let's start with the intermediate geared faction, which is going to be the UN Peacekeepers. I don't know if you guys have read into it or heard a lot about it, but it is confirmed. They will be in 12.7. They'll be on any map that has any of those UN checkpoints. They'll have a sniper team, a support team, and a patrol team. And they said that for the sniper team, they'll be equipped with M700s and a suppressed pistol. They said for the support team, they'll have pistols, MP5, lightly to no modded, and they will finally use that stupid medical-only backpack, and it's going to be filled with meds. And then they will have a patrol, which will have lightly modified M4s and a pistol. And the other thing about this new AI faction, they did confirm that it will be friendly to PMCs, but they will shoot scavs on sight. So I feel like that's going to be a very interesting.
Cool.
Yes, I think it's going to be very interesting to see, because right now the only thing that we kind of have is Scav Army, where you can be friendly with scavs.
Yeah.
They'll aggro if you shoot them, and that's how the UN cats are going to work too.
So you can still like engage them even though they don't shoot you, like as a PMC.
Yes.
Dude, that's gonna be crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm hunting these
Because
guys.
I want that R700 with that M61. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so wait, what about? Is there gonna be like a player? Is it just scav and PMC, or is there gonna be like player scav, PMC, and you can play a raid as like a peacekeeper?
They haven't said anything as far as being able to use the UN Peacekeepers as a scav, so to say. So I think it's still just gonna stay that you're gonna have your scav and your PMC, and then the UN Peacekeepers are gonna be like the AI scavs, or like, Sturman's guards or the raiders or whatever. So I think it's just gonna be roaming AI.
Now the question is it going to work like Gluhar and his guards, where when they introduced him, I think it was around the time they introduced him, you could actually scav in as it was one of his guards or one of Rashala's guards. So it'll be interesting to see if a peacekeeper will still end up in that role, or just be a very reduced rate, like spawning as one of their guards.
That's an interesting thing to think about. And then
Super excited.
have you guys heard of the cultists? I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. It's been talked about heavily.
Of course,
Nikita
we
loves
all need
talking
a
about it.
mask off of one of them if they'd hurry up and let him in the damn game.
So
Mark can actually take a nap and stop trying to farm this damn mask.
But Russia cultists hunt you. Don't worry, they're coming soon.
So I think cultists are going to be really cool. They're going to be on night maps only. They're going to be on any map that has a marked room. So like, imagine, you're just beginning a wipe, low level little shithead, just running customs, and you're in like 2-story or 3-story trying to find that stupid golden Zippo or whatever. And these two just they're also going to be insanely quiet. They're going to be quieter than a maxed out PMC. So I think that's going to be super interesting. They're going to actively try to shank you with poison knives. They also have a custom concocted stim that they made themselves that they will inject you with and hold you hostage until about 5 minutes left in raid. I think that's going to be very interesting.
I think I'm just going to go find one and have them kidnap me just so I can see what it's like.
Right?
I'm not even going to put up a fight. Just shoot me and put me in the corner.
Cultist takes your red rebel and you never see it again.
Oh, God.
Could you imagine the effects? Because they've talked about the whole addiction process and things like that. And, you look at your character and you still have the radiation poisoning levels and things like that. If they shot you with this poison and everything was blurry for the last 5 minutes of you trying to run across the map, could you imagine, like, how many people would either go on night raids to try to figure it out or stay away from night raids so they didn't have to deal?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to deal with it.
I think that would be I think it's going to be insanely interesting. I really do. And then the thing with the poison knives is if you get shanked with one, apparently you're only going to have a couple of minutes to live, and the only way to fix it is with a antidote that you can craft in the hideout for an insanely expensive price, or that you can find with the weirdos, or the cultists rather.
Dude, I think that it's a genius idea, and I think that they're trying to give more life to night raids.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to work.
Yeah, because night raids have been, as long as I've been playing, pretty much heavily ignored.
Yeah,
and it's mainly because a lot of the people that play on night raids either have no gear or they're sweaty as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It's always like that.
And there's no middle ground. It's either, hey, I'm gonna destroy you in 2 shots, or I'm gonna tickle you.
Yep, more than likely that's about right.
I love night raids, so I look forward to it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about these new AI factions coming into the game?
I think it's just going to add a different level of alert, because again, that's what the whole game's about, is being alert and covertly moving and all this other stuff. So to have something that you have to pay attention to on, just more stuff that you have to pay attention to for different reasons other than a scav just running at you to kill you. It just adds that whole a different dynamic, and also having basically security guards to help you if you happen to get near a checkpoint and a scav comes at you, and if you got 3 other AI that are just going to mow down the scav or snipe the scav, yeah, it hurts because it takes away the kill from you, but it also helps if that's your last outlet with 2 broken legs and you're missing an arm, right? And you need a place to heal. Now you have a place safely to heal like you would anywhere else in real combat. You duck behind some cover, you have some cover fire, you fix yourself up and move on.
Yeah, and so I'm actually wondering, and this is just pure speculation, but since that support role is going to have a meds backpack just absolutely full of meds, I wonder if there is going to be a potential of being able to interact and asking for meds, and like maybe those actual voice lines are going to be, useful now. Or you guys just like, yeah, I'm hurt. Oh shit, I got a broken leg.
I need meds.
Yeah. That'd be lit, actually, dude.
That would be.
It would be good, but the best part would be it should be random. You should be allowed to ask them for meds, and whatever they drop, they drop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they shouldn't give you exactly what you need, because it's our responsibility as gamers to bring in what we're going to need.
Yeah.
So
you're bleeding?
If he
Here's
throws
a
you
splint.
a bottle of fucking Tylenol, then great. He throws you a bottle of Tylenol, pop a pain pill, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Or like, here's a one-use ibuprofen. Like, it doesn't even have to be a maxed out med.
Yeah, exactly. Or you take the risk, you pop in the head and take your shit.
Yeah, honestly, like that's what I'm thinking is like I like what Rhino said. Like they're running for like to seek refuge almost at the station where the peacekeepers are, and then like, but another PMC comes up too, and he's like, dude, how can I fucking swindle this? You know, how can I kill him and like all the guards? Because like the guards will aggro as soon as he shoots you, or you know what I'm saying? And it's just gonna create
Will
this
he,
almost
though?
like this drama. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be hilarious.
Yes.
But will they?
Or just start throwing nades, dude. Yeah.
One grenade, 4 kills instantly.
So that's the other thing that I'm super curious about too, is since they won't aggro on PMCs immediately, and I'm wondering if will they aggro on a PMC if they watch you kill another PMC?
Just like the Scav army does.
Yeah.
Because that would be pretty cool.
And it's going to be interesting too, because they said something along the lines of if peacekeepers see players fighting, they'll use voice lines and you know ask you to stop or whatever, because you know all in all they're peacekeepers and that's kind of their job. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting to watch too. You know,
It would be interesting, and that also adds a dynamic of like if you want confirmation you're fighting a PMC, go near some peacekeepers.
Yeah.
If it's a scav, they're not going to say anything. They're going to kill the scav or
Yeah.
shoot in his direction. But if you're fighting a player, they're going to be like, "Stop fighting, you fucks!"
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. It really is, and I think it's a cool dynamic that's gonna be added to the game. It's gonna add, it's gonna add more towards that whole we want people to cooperate deal as well.
And I like the dynamic that Rhino mentioned because I use it myself. Of they're going to be able to be your guards just like scavs are for your scav. So like as a scav, I like to leave other scavs alive. Somebody fights them, I know somebody's nearby. And like I know where they are now. I now have that information that they don't. I'm going to go fuck them up. You're going to be able to do the same type of tactic with the peacekeepers if you say you don't want their kit right away, or you want someone else to take the initial crack, learn where they are, then you can take them out and go from there.
Yeah, exactly. And
leave them to guard your 6.
And I think one of the things that has actually gotten me killed more than anything as a scav is leaving other scavs alive. Because you know you get that one sneaky player scav who tries to blend in, and then you don't kill other scavs, and he's just like.
You get that player scav that intentionally misses you. You don't realize he intentionally missed you. You shoot him. You're now the aggressor.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing is did you guys know they took that out? Okay, so like player scavs can just fight it out, and the regular scavs will just sit there and laugh. It's crazy. Unless they aggro, and like the enemy aggroes the AI, they won't help you.
Yeah,
crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. I've been like, help, dude, and they just like watch, and I'm like, please, you know, and I'm getting blasted, dude.
Yeah,
I guess I could stop aggro them after killing a player scav. Then
they just, you know, they just pull out their little booty spoons, some Tashanka, and they just sit there and laugh, and you get the singing scav in the background.
Get the good old cheeky breaky as you're in the middle of a gunfight.
Yeah, right. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck?
Like, would you shoot him, please? Like, he's trying to kill me. Help me out here.
Yeah.
Reflex had that happen earlier today. Player tried to kill him, and he went click.
Ooh.
He was running around trying to axe him, and they were in factory. Ran down the center stairs, and a scav walked up and took out the player for him.
Damn. Oh yeah, I think I actually saw that. But yeah, I mean, I think overall 12.6 has been one of the best patches that we've gotten, even though it was literally the quickest that we've had ever as far as wipes go. What are your guys' thoughts on the insanely fast announcement for drops?
Oh yeah, dude.
I think it's great because there are probably some of us that, I mean, just you look at the amount of people that they have that are struggling, right? Like you've bled through everything you get in EOD, and you're just having a shit go at it. You're really not finding a lot of stuff, and even though you can't put them on the market, you can sell them to the traders and get some money out of it. You know, regardless of what it is. If it's a weapons case and hell, you don't have enough weapons, you know, go unload it to a dealer and get some money out of it and be able to use it to continue your gaming.
Yeah.
Crossing my fingers for that weapons case. I have too many weapons. No
Dude,
weapons case yet. I can't find them to save my life.
I'd like an items case, please, Tarkov.
Right.
Nikita, come on, man.
I was concerned at first, along with so many others, obviously, that they had previously said drops were going to be found in raid. So I tagged them and I suggested, can we have them not be found in raid? That way it doesn't ruin the economy. And then an hour later, they're like, okay, guys, they won't be found in raid. Thank God.
Well, I think a lot of people complained about that, myself included, because I was like,
Yeah.
buy flea market. It was nice knowing you.
Sell your stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let the trades for Red Rebels commence, because that's exactly what it would be filled with.
Oh,
Anybody that would
absolutely.
have a case of some sort, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
just-
that's why they removed the Red Rebel and they're going to put it back after drops.
maybe.
Well, no, they removed the found in raid, so they wouldn't need to remove it anyways.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna open it up to you guys. Anything that you guys want to bring up, talk about, say. If you want to throw up a clip, a video, feel free. We got about 30-ish minutes left. So we can now turn over to the gameplay review if you guys would like to.
We do have other 12.7 stuff inbound. The customs expansion.
Indeed, we do. And 12.7 is supposed to be coming in the next month.
Sweet.
Soon.
Yeah, that's
soon.
one thing
That's what
I
we're gonna
think.
get.
You guys know how like a lot of people. You're all streamers, so you know like you always got that guy that's like,
Man, I'm not playing because they didn't add any new content.
you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
you're like, well, bro, you just kind of remind him. You're like, dude, like, you know, they released. First of all, we didn't have to wait fucking 5 ever for the wipe, right? Secondly, we didn't fucking play the pre-wipe event for 5 ever. That sucked.
Dude,
Last wipe.
I was a little pissed that we had like a day and a half of pre-wipe. I was like,
I was good. I hate that shit. I really do. It's for me. It's like it's like building a house that you know in a week is going to be demolished. So I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
even want to play Tarkov because it's all going away.
that's
I
true.
love how hard it is during the pre-wipe. Having raiders everywhere, it is so much fun running around. Even if I just keep running budget builds, I enjoy that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps with your tactics, like fighting him and stuff. But preparing for the new wipe, you know, using budget
Yeah.
guns. But the thing is people are complaining there's no new content. You know what I'm saying? But you have to remember, like a couple months ago, they added the SR-25. They
Yeah.
added fucking the Osiris. They added a bunch of random bullshit. You know, new bags, things like
Yeah.
that, right? That is content. That's cool. And Nikita said he was gonna sprinkle in content for us, right? And just like the 1911, the PPSH, soon we're gonna get the UMP, the RPD, things like that sprinkled in. And we just have to remind our chats and people that are like that like it's coming. And the whole thing was supposed to be customs, but they had to push it back, right? But
And-
I think that's coming any week, dude. Honestly.
And I'm glad they pushed it back, because if they would have just listened to the fucking slobbering masses and give now, then
Yeah.
then it just wouldn't have been, you know, it would have been half baked. It would have performed like shit. People would have complained, and they would have been like,
Yeah.
"Man, this game fucking sucks, dude."
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, instead of overloaded reserve raids, it would be overloaded customs raids where everything that you have to do at the beginning is customs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you would have the guys that day one ran 12 hours, they're up to level 20. It would be back to the same thing where the guy that's level 1 comes running in and he's just instantly dead.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
Well-
and the biggest like complaint that I have hated seeing in my chat so far is people saying that they didn't add anything with 12.6 when they did actually. We got the day pack, we got that new chest rig, we got
the Bastion.
we got the Bastion, we got the
Defender armor.
Defender armor,
Defender armor.
that new helmet, and
We got a lot of new stuff.
there was a good amount of stuff added that I was looking forward to, and it pains me to see people that, like, you can tell who the people are that don't read through the patch notes, because
Yeah.
they just have no idea what's going on, and that's fine. But you know, if you're gonna complain, you might as well be informed.
To be fair, for the new items, they don't list them all in the patch notes. Really, they were just like, "There's a
Yeah.
bunch of new stuff. You'll find it." I'm
Yeah.
level 22. I'm still finding shit every day.
And they added all those new clothes for scavs, bears, and USEX, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, they added the motocross jacket and stuff like that for your scavs instead of the normal red and white blue Olympic jacket that they wore that everybody wore as a scav all the time.
Yeah. So
Now, do you guys think with 12.7, with the customs expansion, looking at the pictures we've seen so far, there seems to be numerous locations in the new area where you would be able to take advantage of ladders. So, introducing so much of that in a new area, do you guys think that they're going to introduce the ladders being functional with 12.7?
Well, there's so many that are unfunctional now that you can just find because, again, I think the one thing that sucks the most and that would add a little bit to it is right every building that has a scav sniper on it. The one at customs, he's on the roof of the building. The one at the power station at Shoreline. Those guys, if you're dumb enough to go up there to loot that body, right? You should be afforded that opportunity. And if you put a ladder on the side of the building and it's there, go up, get your advantage. That's an advantage point, just like anybody else would have.
Yeah, and it's not only is it making it harder for you to get down when you, eventually want to, but it's making it equally harder for someone to get up too, because you're probably gonna have somebody with you covering that if you're
Out
gonna
in the open.
if you're gonna be dumb enough to go up there. So
There are ladders everywhere.
It's-
I
it's-
just
all
want to
of
go
them.
up one and level up my strength by throwing my grenades from atop of a building that everybody's going to come to.
Yeah,
I mean, why not?
Hopefully, it would level strength just to use the ladder.
yeah. I would like to see those sniper scavs that they have made impossible to get to, able to get to, and even the one that's over by the tank on top of that brick building and construction. He used to fall down, but he doesn't anymore, and that's
No, he still can.
I
I saw him
haven't.
fall 2 days ago. He still has to fall like just perfectly, so he ragdolls to the lower level and then off the edge.
Well, you sir are lucky as fuck, because since
It's the only time I've seen it.
since that's happened, I have not seen him fall off, like fully off, and it's kind of like, oh, that sucks. But yeah, thank you guys for joining in today. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. I do appreciate it.